welcome back. Hola Madrid Trust. We're live with another preview brought to you by Vishal and me. Vishal, how excited are you to be back after a really good
Hey,
couple of wins?
yeah, feels good. Comeback wins and all of that. Feels like home again. But yeah, like Atletico was good. I thought they played really well more than anything most of the game. We were sort of like I don't think we were the better team for a decent amount of time. But yeah, once we got the goal and it just started flowing. I mean, once it goes to extra time, I feel quite confident at this point. So yeah, I thought it was a good game. Again, to win cup games, just keep winning. Don't worry too much about performance.
Sure, sure. Yeah, Vishal, just make sure you speak up, during the game so our viewers can actually listen to your golden nuggets of wisdom.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna be previewing the game against Real Sociedad, which is gonna happen on Sunday. It's a home game. Uh, I guess we can structure this podcast basically how we always do it. We're going to discuss the form of both teams heading into this game, the narratives and the players, and then their form also, and the online uh, controversies, you could say, regarding both teams, and probably then head on to the lineups and the tactics and so on. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Vishal, you've been seeing Sociedad as one of the top teams in La Liga for a while now. How have they been so far this season?
Yeah, like they've been as good as ever. Basically, until January, they're always like bang on. I remember last two seasons, like they were on the top for a while, like a few weeks before slipping off. So they always manage to do well, and then they sort of drop off because of depth or injury problems. This is usually when Oyarzabal sort of just disappears into the sunset with his annual injury for like 5 months or whatever. But this time I have like more hope for them. Like this is their system's very good. It's a 4-4-2 diamond, very intense, high pressing system. Midfield, I think the best midfield in Spain. All four of them combined, and yeah, like he's making it work. Two strikers. So I have more faith in the system for them this season. Maybe they'll be able to hold on to a CL spot because of that. Because I think based on the season, they should be playing CL football. They would have represented Spain much better than some of the teams did, I guess, in the Champions League this season. Europa, they're on top of the table, so they're doing fine. So yeah, it's gonna be a difficult game. I think they're in decent form as well. I know they lost to Barcelona, but I mean, can't say much about that. It is still Barcelona. So yeah, like I think it's a good time to be excited. Like if you're a Real Sociedad fan.
Absolutely. You did mention Oyarzabal usually managed to get injured, or one of their top players does get injured, but that's not been the case this season. So Oyarzabal has missed a lot of games so far, and I think he has only had like what, four starts, and all of them have come in recent times.
Yeah, exactly. So usually I mean, if I remember correctly, usually it's the opposite. Like he is available and then he sort of disappears, and then their slump coincides every time. The new year comes and Sociedad just starts drawing games, losing games that they should be winning, and all of that. But yeah, like this time I think more than anything, like Imran has put together a very good system. Like it's very, very solid. It plays the kind of football that he likes playing, which is quote unquote attractive football. He is one of those idealists, like in managers who think football should be played one way and so on, and he does a good job. So yeah, like again, the season with fewer injuries, hopefully in the future. They should, because I really think they should be representing Spain in Europe's biggest stage. Like I think they're gonna put up a really good show. So yeah, like personally, I hope they do well this season. To be
Well, so far that's been like uh, heading into this long season. They've had a really good record. They're only 3 points off of our second spot, and but we do have a game in hand, to be fair. But they are coming into this game with a lot of good form. They won their last five La Liga games. Well, the only blip in this couple of months would be the Barca loss. But again, like you said, that is Barca, and not a lot of teams score against Barca. And Ousmane Dembele was like really intense, and like he had his way with
yeah,
Sociedad all game.
yeah, one of those players. If he's like switched on, like you should be afraid. he's gonna do things, a lot of things. So,
Yeah. It was fun to see, and it wasn't really easy opponents as well. Like these last 5 games, it was against Rayo, Athletic Club, Osasuna, like really tough games,
yeah,
and they always come on top, scoring goals here and there. So yeah,
yeah,
it's all up to that front line, or you could say, or and you also mentioned their midfield is also one of the best in La Liga. So
yeah.
maybe we can start analyzing their players coming from our player, Kufpo. How good has he been, Vishal?
Oh, he's been so good. He's been a joy to watch. Like I feel like he's finally been, let's say, unlocked. Let's put it that way. Last couple of loan spells, very random. My Mallorca was fine, I guess, because he was sort of carrying, not carrying the attack, but he had a lot of responsibilities there. But Hetafe before that just made no sense. Not a team that played any kind of possession-based football. This year, like I said, Imanol's system is really fun if you're an attacker or a midfielder, especially. You get a lot of time on the ball. You get a lot of options to go forward. So he's been showing quality in spades. He almost scored against Barcelona. Like it went just over the post, the shot outside the box. Very well made sequence, I remember. So yeah, he's having a good season. Like I feel like he's finally having fun, and more importantly, with real quality around him as well. He's not like the only person that's, let's say, technically good. That entire team is completely technically good. The system's great, really complements the forward players, and like I said, the midfielders. Like a lot of quality everywhere. So like if his quality would show, it means that he's doing well. So yeah, I'm not sure what his numbers are, but like he's been contributing really. Whenever he's put on a Safira Chatham, like played on the pitch, he's made impact. He's been very vital in linking the front line and the midfield.
So I just pulled Kubo's numbers. He has 3 goals and 2 assists in 15 games. Well, those numbers can be like they don't seem that impressive, but his expected goals and assists are like way higher. So it's just that
Yeah.
he,
Also, a couple of things to keep in mind. Like I think the highest scorer for Sociedad is Bryce Mendes, who is the midfielder. So they just create in certain ways. Like they always make sure. Like usually, what happens is the extra man ends up being Bryce or David Silva, while the opposition marks Kubo or worries about Sorloth or somebody. So you will see a lot of goals come from all around the pitch in this team. So that's also another factor I would say. For like 3 goals to assists, maybe isn't looking like he's setting the world alight, but like stark difference from his last 2 seasons. Let's say like he's really having fun. So, yeah.
yeah, you could actually see the fun happening with Kubo because against in the game against Athletic Club, once he scored, he took off his shirt and then he had a really nice sequence with the fans, which the fans really appreciated as well. So
Yeah,
good to see him having fun at least. But
yeah, that side of Kubo.
Uh, the thing is, like Real Madrid fans always expect our loanies to come back and set the
Yeah,
world alight in these smaller teams so they can be called up to the first team.
right.
Um, if the season goes on like this, like same as what's happening right now, do you see Kobo coming back to Real Madrid?
I'm actually not sure where he'd play or how we'd play him. It depends a lot on how the transfer market goes. But even if nothing happens in the transfer market, we have Asensio, we have Rodrigo. Rodrigo is just knocking at the door so loudly right now, and Fede is there. So, like, okay, let's say if we had to find a spot for him, we'd put him on the right. But yeah, like there are so many options that it's gonna be another one of those situations where he might be on the bench. If the manager would prefer like more proven options of people who've played in a Madrid shirt, which is perfectly understandable, then we might see his development stunted a bit more. So personally, like I feel like once a player is loaned, I tend to sort of forget about the fact that the player exists. It's fine, he's gone. Maybe he'll come back, but I've just sort of gotten comfortable with the fact that like we're not going to be that club a lot. Like not very often, I feel. But yeah, like as of now, just because I see him playing at the right wing, unless we change like the system or something, um, maybe wouldn't be the best idea for his own development, even in some ways.
You're right. As soon as these big name players or big name youngsters come to Madrid and then they head out on loan, we can basically write them off, or we can expect
Yeah,
them to be sold at a higher profit. That happened in the case of Odegaard. We can probably expect that to happen with Brahim Diaz. Renier, Kubo as well.
Yeah. If you go back, Raul de Thomas, so many players we've taken from our academy and really turned over. So, like, it's a good model. I really like this model where we, by now, especially last year, we were getting good quality young talent across the globe also. So, this keeps like the books flowing, unlike, some other clubs that we know. We won't be in financial trouble for a while because we know how to handle our finance. So, that's something I'll always be grateful for. We don't have to worry about the board and things too much because, like, yeah, many clubs have faced all kinds of crises, and we won't be that club, I feel. So yeah, things like this help a lot. I'm not like necessarily not a fan of that strategy. It helps. It helps a lot in the long term vision of the club, I guess. But yeah, like you said, like once someone goes on loan, like you might as well say bye, and maybe they'll come back.
Uh, I would say like the only exception that I've seen in the last 10 years was Carvajal. As soon as after he
Right,
went on loan and then came back, he just set the world alight with
right.
in Bundesliga, and then it made so much sense to
Leverkusen,
call him up.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so good. Yeah, he's Kaval. Yeah, academy straight, like proper progression. Quite happy to see that.
yeah. Okay, so we covered a lot about Kubo, but Kubo's not really like their best player so far this season. So Alexander Sorloth, he has 8 goals in 15 games. Bryce Mendes, 7 goals and 3 assists. There is one more player who has like really good numbers. He has been performing like up front as well as in the back. So he has the best defensive numbers with like a bunch of clearances, bunch of interventions, and 7 assists so far. It's Mikel Moreno. How has we been so far, Vishal, and what is his role in the team?
Yeah, so this Sociedad system is, I think they are the most fun team to watch in Spain, like for my opinion, or Barcelona, like, but depends on what kind of football you like. But Sociedad is so much fun, especially because of the midfield core. Like Mikel Merino is your like let's say like Danny Parejo, like controller. Keep the ball, he'll keep the ball ticking, but he has a very like sort of forward pass oriented. Like he's very like typical Spanish midfielder, good technique. You're gonna push the ball forward at all costs, right? So that's him, left footed. That adds some good variety to that midfield. Then coming to Bryce Mendes, he's been like the extra man, like let's say Lampard in his best days, or how Rodrigo keeps appearing in the box. Just being there, facilitating everything. A really good advanced midfielder. He's probably been the signing of the season, like as far as Spain's concerned, because he's elevated them and given them consistent output, which is something that stopped them in the past, I'd say. Then yeah, coming to Sorloth's a very technical striker. Like he's good with the ball. He's very tall, but for his height, he's so good on the ball. He dribble past you. He has these nice tricks. Holds up the ball really well. And yeah, off late he's been scoring, so that's important. I like at some point he wasn't like getting into that much of a scoring run. But yeah, like good that he's been scoring. Uh, my favorite midfield in that midfield though is Zubimendi. He is the DM. He is at the base of everything. In my eyes, he is just the next Sergio Busquets, and Barcelona should have gotten him ages ago. He is that exact same player, except I think he's even better at off the ball duties. So yeah, we'll just keep hoping that Barcelona doesn't get him. But he's the guy to watch. Like he is a Busquets. Tomorrow we're gonna, I mean, day after I guess we'll be seeing a Busquets in action. So that guy we have to keep an eye on for sure. I would say if we stop that area itself from pushing forward, we will solve a lot of our problems already. Yeah. So
Well, yeah, let's hope so. But yeah, I was kind of avoiding the Zubimendi topic because he needs a special mention. He has been super great so far. He has been the core of their midfield, spraying passes here and there, shoring up the defense line. But and the sad thing is that he might leave La Liga next season because Arsenal have reportedly come up
yeah,
with a 53 million pound offer for him, and Barca just can't compete with that. So I
yeah.
guess that's a good thing for us, but
I,
still, it's like
I think Barca got another fresh like sanction on players they have to sell by summer for next season, like some figure again.
another
So
lever.
unless they,
Okay.
yeah, if they don't pull more levers, looks like they're in trouble. But yeah, you were saying go on.
Oh, it's like this. Okay, yeah. Good part is like Barca is not getting these players anymore. They're not
Yeah,
poaching La Liga talent because they don't
yeah,
have the money. The sad thing is
yeah.
all of these players end up moving to the Premier League. So we saw João Felix also leave in the mid-season. If Zubimendi leaves, like he's probably the most exciting Spanish talent after Gavi and Pedri, and him going to the Premier League is like not boding well for La Liga as a whole. So, what do you think La Liga can do to combat this?
Yeah, I feel like one good thing that I have for La Liga is okay. If you look at the Premier League, you look at the history, you look at each club, you look at the legends of their club. Couple of English names will come up, but okay, let's look at City. So such a huge percentage of their players have come from other leagues like Spain or Germany or things like that, right? So Spain is one of those leagues which has never had a shortage of players coming. So that's a great example. Zubimendi is a great example. Their academy just produces world class players for fun, right? And they bring them up well, and eventually it becomes a situation where they sell off to, like, let's say, a bigger club. But my personal opinion is, yeah, this is happening right now. Right now, it's very accelerated because of how insane the money skew is. Like, you see Nottingham Forest buying, I don't know, 14 players in the summer. That's a new squad. That's like you can't even do that on FIFA. I think you'll have trouble doing that with Nottingham Forest on FIFA. So yeah, like it's a huge skew, but I'm personally not too like. It's sad. It's obviously sad to see. Like, we had Alex Moreno from Betis, he left. Emery left. That was really sad for me. Yeah, like a lot of talent is getting pushed that way. But like Spain, Germany, France are not leagues where I'd worry about like anything long term happening, because the talent always comes from there. And even like Italy for that matter, right? So yeah, top five leagues, all the leagues are the top five leagues because they've been able to produce quality forever, forever and ever. And I don't think Spain's a country where that will change. So it is sad. It's sad every single time it happens. But still, I think we'll be fine in the long run.
As long as we have Real Madrid, Barca, Atletico, Valencia, or Sociedad, all of these Athletic Club,
Oh, Sociedad.
yeah, all of these teams are kicking up, and like La Liga should be safe.
Yeah, really good.
And yeah, but we also touched a lot about Alexander Sorloth. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos and like some Premier League tweets from Premier League fans saying, "Hey, like this guy is the dollar store Haaland," which is like a really unfair comparison because I feel like personally, I feel like Sorloth has a better touch than Haaland. Like
Yeah,
definitely right. And then like, what do you think separates those two players?
yeah. Haaland is more of let's say, like yeah, he gets on the end of stuff. He's not bad. I wouldn't say he's bad technically. Like, he's good with his feet and all that. But yeah, Sorloth is particularly great with his feet. Like, he is as good as a midfielder would be with his feet. Like, he has a good touch, like you said. He knows how to stay. He knows how to move around a bit, and drag people away while still keeping the ball. Very important stuff. This is what happens to Rudiger all the time. Rudiger just gets dragged off without winning the ball. So he's gonna keep the ball for more than like 3 4 seconds. He's gonna move around, and in that time, all these other guys will start running into areas. All sorts of stuff's gonna happen. So he's a threat. It's really good that he's been scoring, but a bit more than that, if he gets on the ball, he can be trouble because he'll hold up play. He'll suspend play for like a few seconds. That's usually enough time for the rest of the team to sort of kick into gear because they're very, very like attack oriented, generally speaking. And they've historically never cared who's coming. Like, there are interviews where the manager, even out for the last, I think, 3 4 seasons, he said, "I don't care if I lose as long as my team plays the way I want it to play." So that much into like this style of football, which is, it's all about the style. It's all about how we play. If you play a good game or a bad game, so they're gonna come and play attacking football because they don't really care. And yeah, things like this are like very notable patterns. Soloth holding up play, and Kubo darts into a run behind the defensive line, or Mendes attacks a forward space or something. So these are things we have to watch out for because they can be relentless. Like, they keep winning the ball back, then doing this again, then win the ball back, doing it again. Like, you might feel like you're stuck in some sort of a vortex. Sometimes it's just coming back at you, back at you, back at you. So you just have to ride those out. Again, holding the ball will be important for us. But yeah, as far as Soloth and the rest of them go, they're dangerous because yeah, they can score. I don't think he can finish as well as Haaland or even 20-30% of that. But yeah, his skill set's important because he always activates sort of everybody else around him. Sure.
Yeah, Sorloth is like a really good backup option even for a top team because he is that striker who can bring you maybe 10, 15 goals a season
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. I
easily.
agree.
Yeah, before we head into how Sociedad can line up, the major talking point for this week has been the injuries to these top teams. So we have had six or eight, like 6 to 7 injuries. These guys as well. Sociedad have had 8 injuries, and most notably, Mikel Merino, Gorozabal, David Silva is also out.
Hmm.
So how do you see this impacting their lineup?
Uh, it will be big. I think we'll see a familiar face, Mendy tomorrow. If I'm not wrong, he might come back and play against us. Uh, he'll fill in for Mikel. Mikel's not around. I think that's what's gonna happen. Um, Gorosawa is fine. He's the right back. Like they can replace him, and I
It's
think they've already
Elizondo.
played a few games. Yeah,
Yeah.
Elisondo's played. He's fine. He's not a problem. So yeah, I think, but Mikel will be a bit of a miss as much as I like Ilya. David Silva also is on great form as the 10. He is like what Isco was for our midfield diamond, and he was recently getting some really good form. So yeah, it's unfortunate that he's out, but that will be a miss as a result. Like David Silva will be a miss. So David Silva and Mikel Merino, like are they not available for tomorrow's game?
No, I read from report that all of these players are
Yeah,
injured, not just.
yeah, that's as far as I also know. Like, but yeah, if they aren't gonna be playing, even if they're not going to be playing like let's say 60 70 minutes out of 90, that's a plus for us. It's definitely a plus considering what it would be if both of them were on the pitch. So yeah, I think maybe Kubo's going to slot into 10 and they'll play I think one Navarro or one of their academy kids along with Sorloth, I guess. um that's my assumption here. But yeah, Silva and Marino will be two misses if they are being missed, like huge misses. Yeah,
Yeah, I was really hoping to see David Silva come on and then play against us because this is such a rare sight in today's modern game, having a pure CAM operate and then having so much freedom on the ball to
absolutely,
roam.
absolutely.
So how I mean, as a Real Madrid fan, we hope to see that happening because we have the players to do that, or we had the players to do that in the past, but we had to go for a 4-3-3 with Casemiro in, and
Right.
we just haven't been able to make it happen with the CAM. None of the top teams have, but Real
Right.
Sociedad have filled out figured out a way to do it.
Yeah.
So how come they're so good in defense as well? Like if David Silva cannot run, if he's a CM.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a good question. Like tens have been sort of dying out of late. And also because yeah, like not very sustainable system. I think Milan used to play with a 10 at some point when they won the league. But yeah, beyond that, no. As far as Sociedad goes, the main reason why they can do this well is because they can press really well. Like that is the key here. Let's say, so you can imagine a 4-4-2 midfield diamond, two strikers up front, and then four midfielders sort of tight to each other. Not too tight, but kind of tight to each other. Which means the moment they lose the ball, they're all gonna convert. So your press is gonna be good if it's well coached because you're probably gonna win the numbers game in the middle. So that's Sociedad's agenda in like one sentence, which is keep the ball. If you lose it, like you have 5 seconds, get it back, right? Because he knows you win the numbers game for like a few seconds, maybe unless the opponent switches or something like that. But there are a few seconds where the ball is sort of contentious, like kind of how Liverpool in their best days used to play. They are not only waiting to have the ball, but they're waiting to lose it so that they can go and win the ball back in a very dangerous situation. So Arsenal is much the same. Like they're very dangerous once they lose the ball as well, because you have to navigate like the next 4 5 seconds, make sure that you're in a space that's not too tight. And I'd say that's why they've succeeded. Like adding a 10 just adds a lot more central numbers. This midfield, the technique level is off the roof, so they can execute that, be very tight in patterns, even though it's very narrow and condensed. Only the fullbacks hold width in that team, which is crazy. Again, like our own Isco formation. But yeah, same thing here as there, which is all midfielders are technically very, very elite. So they can do that on the ball, and they can afford to do that because once they lose the ball, they just really like try and press hard so that the team cannot play out again. So yeah, I think that's why they've succeeded. It's the result of like a very good manager. Emmanuel, every year he's given us some very fun football, fun systems, new systems. This is his latest. This is like definitely my favorite, and this is why I think like they might actually make it through because this 4-4-2 diamond stuff is really working. So
Well, when we had our 4-4-2 diamond with Isco up top, we had like probably the best fullbacks of our generation with Pete Carvajal and Marcelo.
massive.
Uh, so that kind of like gave us a lot of leeway to go forward, and in defense as well. These guys always performed in the big games. But don't you think like Sociedad could leave themselves dry at the back if we manage to play through their press, and then we always seem to attack through our wings as well. So do you think we can cause troubles for them like on Sunday?
Yeah, I think that's the key tactical battle. What you just mentioned. That's also what gave Barcelona the edge. Like we talked about Dembele at some point. The whole reason he was effective was because he was always 1v1 on the right, always, because the fullback is the only width in most cases. And whenever Barcelona quickly played it out wide, Dembele was free mostly. And 1v1 Dembele is not a good side. In the same way that 1v1 Vinicius is not a good side. So, yeah, in that case, it's good news for us. If we can make it out, wide areas are where we will 100% find more space. And we can exploit them through that because, like when we have wide combinations and a lot of space to play with, that's when we play our best football. Like Villarreal, the whole comebacks. Yesterday, I guess, like a couple of goals that happened. It all happens because we were given some wide space. So this we'll get because they'll press high. Again, like I said, they don't really care. They will press high. So we will find space. It's just yeah, we have to find that initial. Once we find that initial compression of the pitch, where they're trying to like clutter you in the middle, if you're able to like find it, then 100%. Like again, just like the Barcelona game, like the whole reason Barcelona created so many chances was because they exploited this very thing you mentioned, which is the fact that at the end of the day, a 4-4 diamond doesn't give you any width, and that can be a problem if you get attacked well on transition. So yeah, that's a good point.
Exactly. Do you have any other notes on Sociedad, or maybe we can head over to analyzing Real Madrid?
Yeah, we can move. I think their goalkeeper is worth mentioning. Great goalkeeper Alex Ramiro, good with his feet. He will be a key figure tomorrow. Like even if we come up, let's say against him 1v1, we can expect him to save some. So yeah, that's one more thing I want to point out. And yeah, we can move on.
Alrighty then. Well, the main narrative heading into this game because of all the injuries that happened in the Atletico, the intense game, is those injuries. So there is a bit of good news and a lot of bad news. The bad news is Rodrigo is out. So we'll know the extent of his injury today probably, and then we'll know when they release a squad list. Mendy is probably out for a month. Alaba, we thought he was back, but then he
Yeah.
suffered a relapse to his injury. He's also out. Carvajal is out. We don't know when he's going to be back. Choumeni, he could be back for the next week, but not immediately for the Sociedad game. And of course, we have Lord Vasquez also out for the month. I did say I had some good news, but it's not really good news. It's just that Hazard is back in training.
Yeah. Nice. Celebrate. Oh man, that's horrible. Like when you put it that, I've just been reading all these tweets separately. You just gave it to me in one shot. I was like, that sounds really bad. And yeah, like huge, like very, very big misses in terms of depth and just generally just having players out on the pitch at all. So yeah, like what do you think? How do you think we line up at top?
It's like insane, man. Like, I thought we had so much depth in defense as well as in midfield, but it's starting to wear thin. Like, all of our starters are basically all of our starters in defense are out. Alaba is
Yeah.
out as a CB. Both of our fullbacks are out. Na if Nach something happens to Nacho, like, we're pretty much going to be
Both
playing
both
Castilla
both
players.
both of our fullback backups are also out.
Yeah, so probably going to see Kamavinga on LB again.
Right. Purely out of force, I feel. Although he was stunning at LB. I thought he was really good. So, now that I'm like complaining about it, but I'm sure he's like, here we go. another shift to Delhi.
I'm not sure Kamavinga enjoys being played at LB because he did. One fan did say, "Hey, we are excited to see Kamavinga at LB," and then he was like, "Uh, are you kidding me?"
Oh, that happened on
Yeah,
socials.
yeah, he did interact with a fan on Twitter.
Oh, nice. Well, I mean,
He
too
just
bad.
said, "Don't get me started," and then that was really
Yeah,
fun to see.
yeah,
Uh, But yeah, like Many is out in midfield, but although we do have some sort of cover in midfield at least. But with Rodrigo out, we pretty much have only two options in the right wing, with Valverde either playing or Asensio, and no substitutes for Vini or Benzema.
yeah, yeah. That's huge, man. I guess it's a good thing Hazard's back. Like if somebody else gets injured, somebody has to play. But yeah, apart from that, really tragic. Like this part of the season, especially now when we finally look like we're sort of turning around. So many crucial wins, dude. Like Villarreal was not easy. Athletic Club was not easy either. And then the derby win. Yeah, crucial time, really bad time for stuff like this to happen. Especially when morale is probably like rising up again. Right? Like in the squad, everyone's feeling it again. Yeah, not a great time for this, I'd say. Even in the long term, like forget about these games. I hope it doesn't like impact our overall momentum, form, etc. Because that can happen. Like once key players start disappearing, like bad things happen. So yeah, I just hope we
Exactly.
ride it out.
I feel like among these injuries, the most key player we're going to be missing is going to be Mendy because he's probably out for a month, meaning he will miss the Liverpool first leg.
Yeah, that
I know Salah is like having a really bad run of form as of late, but he's going to be licking his lips, man, because we have no true LB right now to replace him.
we don't. It's got to be Nacho or I hope it's not Alaba. That sounds horrible. Like he was really bad when he played at LB. So slow at covering transition, tracking back. So I hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, like let's see. I don't know. It's just so sad. It always comes down to let's see how Kaminga does in some goalkeeping position or something. But yeah, now let's see how he does in left back so that maybe he can play there for us again.
Yeah, it is encouraging. It's not just like Kamavinga is a good CM. Like he's a really great footballer. Like he can do a
Yeah,
job anywhere on the pitch, pretty much,
yeah,
in the
so good.
midfield.
Yeah. Quality football.
All right. Well, we did touch upon the injuries. Kamavinga, cameo, Telby. Like, is this going to be a recurring theme over this rest of the season? Because Mendy can be missing, or he might be required to cover for Carvajal again. If Carvajal goes missing again, so do you see Kamavinga start a few more games at LB?
Yeah, I think it might happen because I think he's gonna impress at LP. That is the problem. Like, I think he's gonna be good. So like it's like how Fede started becoming good on the right, and eventually Carlos like, cool, let's just stick him there now. So considering how Mendy's form hasn't been great across the whole season, um, I actually have few doubts that Kamavinga will be good at left back because even that France game, I don't know if you remember, like that
The World Cup
he had a
final.
good game. Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a good game. Like after the first few glitches, like he was fine. So I am sure he can do the job. But yeah, maybe because he can do the job, we might see him a lot. Because yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna impress at left back. Like once you give him his space, once you tell him, okay, this is the area you're responsible for, he'll just go, man. He'll go into duels. If he goes into a duel, he's probably gonna win the duel. So good. Like once you get around, I mean, yeah, I feel like Rudiger should be taking notes. Like once he gets around somebody on the ball, he's just somehow getting the ball away, right? Mostly cleanly. I don't care that he gets yellow sometimes. It's okay. It's just he's getting better and better at this amazing intuitive like, ability to like win the ball back, which will be what's very important at left back. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. Again, what you said about his interactions, or generally how one might think like he feels about this. Yeah, it's always not going to be comfortable to digest, but I think we can just be happy that like we have someone who's that good and is filling in like really crucial gaps and holes for us.
Exactly. And okay, we have LMS in the comments saying it's a bit worrying that the Real Madrid don't have suitable substitute for Danny. And he means the real right man. I know Odriozola is still around, but he may not be the one. Odrius, we know time and time again from a lot of matches that Odriozola is not the one. He might not even be the one for maybe a mid-table right back because that's how bad he
Yeah,
is on defense. He could be
yeah,
like valuable going forward as maybe as a second half substitute when we really need a goal, but he's just not it good.
yeah.
Uh,
He's not a right back. I guess Vinicius Tobias might finally get minutes. Um,
with
that
Car-
that might be one
with
name.
with
Yeah, go
Carlo,
on.
do you see that happening with Carlo?
I mean, Carlo might be forced into it. Like, I think even in the last press conference, he said, "I'm just flat out of players, and they're injured, so we might have to drop on Castilla." I think he said that. I think the entire fan base must have clapped when he said that, because everyone's been waiting for it to happen. Yeah, maybe we will. Like right back, Nacho. I thought he was good last game, but on the ball, like he kept locking up, turning back around, sort of blocking progression sometimes. But I thought he was very natural at right back against Athletic Club. So I don't know. I don't know what Carlos sees or decides to do. We might though. Like I have a feeling we might see him because right back is like not looking good. Even with let's say Carvajal's form dipping generally or Lucas Vasquez as well. Like I think that's one position where we could use a fresh face and just see what gives. I wouldn't say this about like midfield or something very crucial position where the whole team can stop functioning if you just throw somebody random in. But right back, somebody who's been playing at right back for a while at Castilla and getting used to it and making progress. Like he's been getting better and better and better and better from what I hear. So that is one thing I wouldn't mind. Like he said, right back is a bit of a problem position right now. Hopefully we see Tobias in action once or twice.
And we actually like we know someone from the right Castilla who's like pretty good at right back, right? Vinicius Tobias. He is touted to be really good going forward, but he has his lapses in concentration while defending. We don't have the same luxury for the left back position. There is no clear person to take up the reins, which is why a lot of Madrid fans are calling for the signing of Fran Garcia. Vishal, like, can you explain to these fans, like, why, or like, can you give an explanation for why the board is acting this way and scrimping and not trying to buy someone really cheap for like 5 million?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure why. There might be a few reasons. Left back again. Yeah, fullbacks are a problem positions for sure. One thing I think overall the board is betting on is that this whole period is just a slump. I think that is the context for everything for us being passive and silent, which is that we played so well. We won our first, I don't know how many La Liga games, right? One, not even drew. We didn't even have a draw for a very long time. So, that could be why we're not really going aggressively into the market and that we're thinking about, I don't know, maybe Jude. I don't know what's happening with Mbappe, but maybe that. But yeah, 5 million is not a lot, which is you're bang on about that. Fran Garcia is a good fullback. Like he is really aggressive, very aggressive. His positioning is always like up, 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 up. He likes doing that. I'm not sure if he's the answer for Madrid yet. Like bringing him now, fine. I think bringing him is a good option only to give Mendy that like a bit of competition, let's say. There's no real left back competing with him right now, and they might push each other because Fran really does want to come back to Madrid, and he's been really good at Rayo. I just don't know if we can afford to have a fullback that's that aggressive. We don't have Ramos anymore to cover for what Marcelo used to do. We don't have Casemiro anymore. We don't have Zidane anymore. That's another thing. So, few things which make me like slightly suspicious about Fran, let's say, or at least like this thought that if he comes, all our problems would be solved. I don't think so. I think there will be new problems that might come around, but that's only because like he's still a kid, and that's just how he naturally plays. So yeah, I get it, and I think like in the summer we might actually be getting. I'm not too sure.
Yeah,
Him or Miguel.
we
Yeah,
did block Leverkusen's transfer of Fran Garcia,
yeah,
so we should be picking
perfect.
up for the summer.
Yeah, exactly. That I mean that makes sense. I hope it happens. So yeah, like in the summer, I'm not. I think that'll be a good move. He'll have more time at Rayo. He's already had a good season last season. Also, he was very good at Rayo. But I feel like he's developing. So let him. Let's not throw him into the mess that we have here. hope he'll be like the savior to all our problems. I think he's having a really good time at Rio. Let him get better and better. And yeah, next season like he'll be good competition for Mendy because they can sort of figure out who gets to start and stuff. Like now we see with Rodrigo Vinicius, everybody scoring, everybody wants to make themselves heard. Asensio putting in good shifts. That kind of competition is always healthy. So yeah, I think it'll be good to have that in the summer.
You know where uh, on the pitch we have like excellent competition? It's the midfield. So in recent games, Casey, Cruz and Modric haven't been starting, and we have picked up a lot of good results. Do you think, like going forward, at least for the rest of the month, we should be only playing them, one of them, at every point, or bring them both on just to close these matches out? Because this young midfield have been performing really well. We have been missing that dynamism, like whenever we have looked slow on the ball.
I feel like that Camavinga going to LB part will sort of again tilt the balance back to like the midfield being familiar and not new. But yeah, if that left back situation wasn't there, I would definitely like say yeah, we'll start one of Cruz and Modric, give Camo some more minutes at this point. Right, like at this point, I think Camavinga's had three great games in a row, 3 or 4. So like now it's like cool, like it makes sense, right? Like Cruz and Modric are on a dip as well, slight dip, nothing major. Cruz also being played out of position. All of those things are there. But yeah, like it would have been a good time to like get the new midfield, let's say, running. But again, this left back situation complicates things. Then suddenly we don't have a six, so Cruz is going to be default six again. And yeah, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So yeah, again, this injury thing sort of puts like some really annoying context and everything. Like, it really forces our hand on a few things. Now, if even if everyone was fit, I don't know if Carlo would have played like the kids anyway. That's up for question. He likes to stick with the people that he knows have gotten him results. But yeah, like at this point, like we will have to play like whoever's available for a while. I feel like that it's gonna be a bit of a desperation scene.
Yeah, that's gonna be you're spot on. But yeah, what is encouraging is that these players who have always had this shadow of doubt over them, like right now that shadow is lifting because these players are getting
Um,
kind of regular minutes and then the morale is going up. We have actually like I'm so surprised with Lexi. Like I thought sending Ceballos to Arsenal would be like the end of him because he was in such mediocre form. And then right now, like if you look at his form, like this is the Ceballos that we signed initially from Betis. He has pretty much brought back the form that made us sign him.
yeah, yeah, he's been good. I really like Ceballos as a deep player, like as opposed to like a forward going player. When he plays that cruise role, he's so good. Like he knows what to do. He brings dynamism, but he doesn't overcomplicate, which is what I want him to do the most. He's so good when he doesn't do that. Like he really knows which way to tick the play, and that's been showing. And I think some recent interviews he was saying that I have like 5 months left to prove that I can still wear the shirt next year or something like that. So that's good to know, right? Like he's gonna be playing on full burners for the rest of the season. We need him because people keep getting injured. So yeah, like pretty excited to see what he offers, and maybe he might earn himself an next.
Right. Well, before we head into the lineups, I guess we only have a couple of topics. Like the main talk in Spain was what the Atletico fans did, the despicable things they did by hanging the Vinicius doll from over the bridge. And like it's what is sad about the whole thing is like all of these clubs they have put out statements on their socials. These players have come out in support, but it's like no action has been taken against the people who actually went out and did it. Those the ultras who were probably behind this haven't been banned from the stadium. Like us as Real Madrid, we take really good responsibility over these things. We actually ban our ultras. We don't allow any sort of racist things to be happening in our club. But the other clubs in La Liga just seem to take this for granted. All they care about is appearances. Do you agree with that, Vishal? Or?
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. I mean, at least Atletico Madrid's part. Like the other clubs, I don't know. At least, I mean, I feel like Atletico has a personal stake with Real Madrid, so they have a responsibility to not take it too far. Like the other clubs, it's like whatever, you know. But I mean, here it's like. they've been rivals for so long. Like we've been rivals on strong sporting grounds, and there's no need to do this in any case. Like, what are they even trying to say, right? And about players, about people not getting caught and stuff. Like this first leg in Atletico, if you remember, like I remember after that game, they sent out a statement saying, "Hey, we'll catch all the people who are chanting all the racist chants against Winnie." Nothing happened, right? Even today, nothing happened. So, I mean, yesterday, whatever. So, yeah, very unfortunate. Spain does have a bit of a racist side. We've learned that as Madrid fans, I guess. But it's been a thing for a while, I guess. Not a great advert for the sport or the league. There's no reason for this kind of behavior to not go unpunished. But I feel like it's been happening so much, and in some ways, it's been happening to like a Madrid player consistently. So it's gonna get the kind of outrage that it deserves. Like people are gonna hear. And I think yesterday, not that it matters too much, but they was put out a kind of a strong statement about this and said they'll catch who was responsible. Yada yada. Like we all know how that tends to end up. But I mean, this season has been great. Like not normal, not good for the sport, the league, for the players. Like it's a really bad message, I feel. So yeah, like I don't get it either. Like, I mean, like I get it, they're salty, they're not doing well and stuff, but like it's still football. It's not that deep. There's no need to go and abuse people like that. So yeah.
That's why these fans are called ultras, man. Like they just take it way too seriously. They take it ultra. They go
Yeah.
overboard.
And first thing Perez did when he came to Madrid was ban the ultras. He was like, we are not gonna be that club. And yeah, I think that was a good message.
Absolutely. There are so many reasons to be proud of being a Real Madrid fan. We just seem to do the
Yeah.
right things top to bottom.
Yeah. Everything we talked about the finance also earlier today. So many things. Very privileged.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and talk about the lineups. This time, what is going to be fun to discuss is going to be the back line. So let's start from there. Obviously, like the
Oh,
goalkeeper is going to be Courtois. Like Lunin can't even start Copa del Rey games.
CDR, yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the easiest part, I guess.
Okay.
Uh,
Vishal, I
After
mean,
that,
it is kind of easy too. Like the CBs, we don't have other options. It's going to be Militao and Rudiger.
yeah,
So Rudiger's last three games, what's your general thoughts?
yeah, improvement. I would say general improvement. Like I've been a very vocal, like sort of anti-supporter. I can't get the word, but I've been speaking against him for a while now. Because I feel like he's not been up to par with the levels he has shown. So yeah, I'm glad to see like a little bit better. Like at least he's not making blatant errors and his positioning is better, not all over the place and stuff. So yeah, I'm having more faith in him, which is always um, for the player, especially for the players you criticize, because it means like your squad is stronger than you thought. So yeah, Rudiger Militao has been lights out, man. That guy is on something. I don't know what it is, but I'm glad. Keep doing it. He's insane. Such good levels this season, and he's only getting better and better and better. So that's good. Like, yeah, that centre back pairing, like Militao, just gives me a lot of faith every single time. Left back, I guess it's gonna be Cameron. I don't know, or Nacho, but Nacho's probably gonna play on the right now. So yeah, like you said, the backline sort of writes itself because there are that few people to choose from. But it's more about like, is it gonna be okay, right? Like Kamavinga left back should be fine. Nacho needs to be better on the ball tomorrow because Sociedad's gonna come at you. So I think our left side will look okay. I just hope our right side looks kind of fluid as well because they can sort of retrieve the ball like much better with much more success on our right. I feel. So yeah, like backline wise, that's my main worry. Right back Nacho on the ball. I hope he finds outlets well. That's all.
That's the thing. Like, if Kamavinga doesn't play at LB though, like, we can't expect him to play that position the whole game, right? Do you feel like we have any player, like either in Castilla or in somewhere on the pitch, that can play that position?
Um, yeah, like none realistically. I don't think anybody that Carlos gonna think of. Anybody. Yeah, Castilla we do have. Obrador, Rafael Obrador we do have, but I don't think Carlos gonna call him up. If he's not called up to Bias, he's not gonna call up Obrador. So no, man, I think Camavinga left fee is like written in the stars. It's probably gonna happen. Probably gonna happen for 90 minutes also. Uh, unless Nacho shifts there and then I don't know, Fede right back, something. Fede's played there before. But I don't think that's like necessary. We don't have a choice at this point.
So who's
Camavinga has
gonna
to.
be coming up against Kamavinga? Is it gonna be Bryce Mendes?
Uh yeah, so like that side would be like Bryce's side, even though they don't have dedicated wingers, let's say. But let's say Camavinga's main threat is going to be the overlapping fullbacks. Like they also push their fullbacks up, and that's the main source of it.
So
So
it's Diego
that's
Rico on that side, I guess.
Diego Rico's on the left.
Left.
It would be Elizondo, I guess.
Elistondo. Okay.
Yeah. So the problem will be that, yeah, because Sorloth will also sort of drift out. He'll have to deal with like one striker, one midfielder, and one fullback. So yeah, that will be Bryce Sorloth and let's say Elizondo who will be his main responsibilities tomorrow. He'll need help from his center mid because that's already an outnumber. That's the thing. Like 4-4-2 is, I mean, that diamond is like automatic outnumbering in the middle of the pitch, whichever side you're on. That's why you play four midfielders, I guess. So yeah, like we need our players to be a little smart tomorrow. Like there are some tactical problems to be solved, and we can't just wing it. If we do that, we might get into trouble.
Right. Uh, so I guess yeah, we have no other choice. The back line is pretty much written out for itself in your own words. So yeah, let's head into the midfield. The midfield. Do we have options realistically?
Yeah, again, like six only Cruz now. Now that Camavinga might, if you're considering him as a left back, I don't know who else is going to play the six. It should be Cruz. Even though he's not a great option, he's like the only option. Then Ceballos definitely deserves to keep playing. And I think Modric had a good game. Like in my opinion, I thought he had a good game. So I think that midfield is fine. It doesn't make me want to sit up or anything, but it's fine. Like I think it'll be okay. It's just yeah, like we'll have good ball retention overall with those three players. It's just yeah, like I'm not too sure about Cruz DM. Like that's not something I've ever liked last two seasons. Whenever he's played there, it doesn't get the best out of him. It doesn't give us the best like sort of shape of the ball either. It's just yeah, Chomini is just a huge miss. Like once he comes, I feel like we'll automatically start looking so much better. Um, but yeah, like for now, I think that has to be the midfielder, unless I'm forgetting.
There are no other midfielders.
That's it, right?
You're
Yeah,
not, yeah, you're not forgetting anyone. But I would say the
yeah,
like the good news with like Cruz playing the CDM position in this game is that David Silva is out injured, so a major boost for us along with
yeah.
Mikel Moreno also.
Yeah. Those are two like major misses also. So yeah, I think that should help a little bit. But yeah, like they're still gonna press really well. They're still gonna give us not a lot of time on the ball once we win it back. So yeah, those are still situations that happen.
Yeah, hopefully like Ceballos still has that those energetic legs behind him and then can carry this midfield.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we can go to the forwards and again we have pretty much no options. So
Yeah,
the
I
question
guess
is right. We don't know if Valverde is going to be playing in midfield or if he's going to play as the right winger.
right. I think he had a subpar game last time around at right wing, and that was actually like one of his first subpar games at right wing in a while. Like I thought he always at least contributes positively. Yesterday he was missing passes, finding wrong options, like very sort of shaky here and there. So on the other hand, I thought Asensio added a lot, and I feel like he always adds a lot. Generally, he just stretches our right side also, which is something that I always want in our team, both sides to be stretched. So yeah, tomorrow it'll be helpful tomorrow because width is important for us to do anything. I think it's also important to play Asensio too. Out wide, just keep pinning the other fullback, being a nuisance for him. Asensio is also so good when he comes centrally, so especially like this year, like with Spain also. Enrique has been using him as a false nine, so he knows how to play in central spaces as well. I think he's in great form. I actually really like this season version. Asensio. Really good player. Like he's sorted things out. He's gotten that burst back, which he didn't have post ACL. Like now, like he still sprints well over short distances, even though like long time sprinting is sort of gone. Like he finds ways past people and he'll get the pass in. And technically also he's been very good. So yeah, I would actually start Asensio. Like purely just to give Eddie a break almost, I'd say. Like I think he'll be back a lot better in some ways.
Well, yeah, like of course, if Asensio deserves to start, and because this midfield is going to cause us a lot of problems, we need runners in the middle of the pitch. Like if Valverde starts in midfield, like who do you think we should drop? Either Ceballos or Modric?
Um I would actually drop Modric. I would actually not Modric, but I remember now I'm remembering at some point we used to play Fede as the six, like not now. I think a few years back. I don't know why Carlo doesn't like that, but I was just thinking about that option. But yeah, I would actually drop Modric. Weirdly enough, I like the option of Modric coming on like, in the middle and really causing trouble as well. But if we had to do that, I'd drop Modric. But having said that, I wouldn't start Fede in the midfield because Fede in the midfield has been even worse than Fede on the right. Like especially post World Cup, he's disappeared every time he's played in the middle, except for I think one set of 45 minutes. I forgot which game that was. But yeah, he sort of disappeared in the middle. Tomorrow, that we need the exact opposite of that. We need players who want the ball, who want to get it and then take it out of pressure. I think these three guys are perfect for that. Ceballos, Modric, and Kroos. Like if ball retention is a priority, this midfield is like good. We should be okay. I feel so.
Right. Well, leaves us with two guaranteed spots for two guaranteed starters, Karim Benzema and Vinicius.
Yeah.
I guess there's not a lot to say about Benzema in La Liga. I mean, he has been tearing it up. He has been trying to get back into the Pichichi race, and hopefully we'll see him score again. But Vinny, man, like we saw that he had trouble like going forward against pretty good right backs in La Liga and in the Copa del Rey. So, with Elustondo playing, do you think Vinny's gonna have the same problems?
Not really. I think some of the toughest opponents Vinny has faced so far,
The Villarreal
Foy,
fight, yeah,
Foy, and Thierry Correa against Valencia, totally tied him up. And who else did we play? Athletic Club was fine. Yeah, I don't think tomorrow, like 1v1, he'll have too many issues. I mean, even Foyth and Correa, he sent to the floor a couple of times in those games. So
yeah,
I think Vinny will be fine. 1v1, I would trust Vinny against most right backs, let's say. Um, and tomorrow shouldn't be too different. Like Vinny, like when he gets into that zone, he can make it past most people. It's just what he's been doing well recently. He's also looking up and seeing what to do after that. So as long as he keeps doing that, we look more and more fluid, and things will be good. So
exactly.
yeah, tomorrow I don't think Elizondo will be that much of a threat, but I think that's more down to how good he is.
Yeah, the good news is that the old Vinny who used to combine with the rest of the team is back.
Yeah,
He's not trying to do everything on his own. Like the bad
yeah,
part is that he still has his old finishing. Do you see that improving anytime soon?
yeah. I think that's something that like once it's back. Okay, I don't know if I should say that. There'll be many cases of people who just go back to being bad finishers. I think Vinny will be fine. Like he has we'll always create opportunities for him if he's willing to combine. I think I'll put it that way. Like him, Benzema, I think Asensio tomorrow. We'll see that. Like there will be a lot of chances for we need to either put that ball in and make something happen, or be the person at the end of chances himself. Or we'll find him at the end of runs. So he'll have opportunities, and I think he'll finish them. Like I think last season he genuinely upgraded at least to a level where he can't really dip back to like before that level of finishing for a long time. So I think he should be okay. Like he's gotten his shooting boots. Like last season he got his certificate, so that should mean for something. I think that ability is still around. Just a dip overall, I'd say. Like I don't think it's too much to be concerned.
I agree. Like I feel like these two guys are gonna have a great game, especially because they don't have too many players on the wing to defend. So yeah,
Right.
should be a fun game to see.
But
All right. Do you have any other notes, or should we head down to the predictions?
all good. Let's go to prediction.
All right. You go first, Vishal.
All right. Uh, I'll be confident again. Let's see. I do. I have a feeling they're gonna score. So I think I've said 2-1 a lot, but I think 2-1, 3-1 like sounds good. I think we'll score multiple goals for some reason. Because I foresee that midfield like solving the problem of okay, their pressure and all of that. So if that happens, we're gonna score goals for sure, and I think that'll happen. So I'll go with 2 or 3-1, but I do think they're gonna score.
Right. That's a really fair assumption. Like, most of our defense is going to be missing, and they're a really high-scoring team, really fluid football. Uh, it's a hard one. I'm like almost tempted to say it's going to be a 2-2 draw. But instead, I'm just going to change my answer to a 3-2, just so that it's a really entertaining game, and then we're just going to like scrape through with the win at the last minute, like we usually do.
Yeah, I hope. So. I think it's gonna be really entertaining. Like I think we both went with some 4 or 5 goals total. So I think that's gonna happen. Like especially because it's not even like Barcelona Sociedad. Madrid love playing on the counter also. So like there's gonna be action on both ends at any given point of time. Which should translate to goals. I hope it translates to goals for us at least.
All right. Well, that's it then. For anyone who stuck around till the end of the pod, thank you for joining us. Thanks Elamas and B for staying and keeping us company with the comments. Also, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing and checking out our socials. We do have some awesome content on there. We have some specialized art stuff going on there as well for each of our Real Madrid players. So do check that out. Do check out the Real Madrid committee as well. They have a wonderful Instagram account that pushes out content day after day. So yeah, do help us out, grow this channel, and you know, we shall what to say. Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.